The thick geologist waifu, the brat kohai, the nerdy klutz, and the girl who lost their way, all inspiring each other while the viewer is subjected to loads of Sakuga moments, cuteness, and lots and lots and lots of rocks. Minerals. Ruri Rocks is one of those shows that I've just come to expect will never really catch the mainstream of anime fans, leaving it to be one of those gems that you just absolutely love, but nobody goes to watch it. Without a doubt, Studio Bind has made yet another masterpiece, and adapted a story that, I admit, I don't think I would ever gravitate to. I mean, yeah, I had classes on geology and minerals, but I really don't care about them. But due to the attention and care given to this anime, it captured my heart and it just wouldn't let go. It's just one of those shows that says, get out there and achieve. It has a fun cast, heartwarming moments, and just a sheer ability to just inspire someone to go seek out their dreams and find the deeper value in things. But with all that said, what is Ruri Rocks about? Ruri Rocks opens up with a girl named Ruri, and Ruri at the very beginning of the show just wants to have really beautiful accessories. She sees one crystal at the store and she's just in love with it. Even tells her friend that I can find anybody that'd be willing to buy this for me, before she goes to her mother and asks for money. But yes, her mother quickly shuts her down, but also mentions the fact that her grandfather used to go out and pick up minerals all the time out in the mountainside. And Ruri doesn't believe this at first, but because she wants the bling, she rushes out there to go to find some. Well, she fails at this, but she does bump into a girl named Nagi. Now, Nagi is a college student that is studying geology, and thankfully for Ruri, Nagi quickly pulls her under her wing and shows her how to find minerals. And what this sort of opens up the door to is Ruri discovering more and more about minerals themselves. Not just how beautiful they are and wanting to kind of wear them as accessories, but finding the deeper value in aspects like how to find them and what all actually goes into the process of creating them. She also meets some other individuals such as Yoko, who is an undergrad at the same college that Nagi is going to. She's more of a bookworm type. She likes to read and study information about minerals, but she doesn't really apply it to the real world. She doesn't like to go out and actually seek them out in the real world. And there's also Shoko, who is this girl that when she was very young, she was very much so into minerals and loved rocks, but unfortunately, due to the people around her sort of not seeing some future in it, she decided to leave it behind. But thankfully, after meeting Ruri and everybody, she's kind of inspired to get back into it. And that's basically the nutshell of what Ruri Rocks is about. But in actuality, it is so much more than that. And hopefully I can actually convey that in this video. First things first, the thing that I love so much about this show is probably at its core, this is a story about inspiration. It's about mentorship. It's about people being inspired by other people. I think the thing that I love so much about Ruri's character itself is that initially she's somebody that's very selfish. She wants things. I want these gems. I love that opening sequence where she literally tells her friend, I can get anybody to buy this for me. But she can't actually. As cute as she is, she cannot. And she fails miserably. And it turns to this whole thing where it's about discovery. It's about trying to find something just because she wants to wear it. She wants to find this thing because she wants to have that and show it off to people. But through her time with Nagi, she's slowly discovering just how much it takes to make these minerals. These things that we wear on jewelry and whatnot, these are things that take thousands, sometimes millions of years to develop in some way through the movement of the earth itself and different things. And as she's discovering this, she suddenly finds more value in it than just showing it off. She's finding the purpose there. She's finding something that is so much more that's in that. And that's really a lot to do with Nagi's perspective on things. Nagi loves discovery. Nagi likes to kind of chronicleize this stuff and find more discoveries and really kind of advance our knowledge about these minerals. But the thing that I love so much is that even though Ruri comes into this knowing nothing and is discovering things as she goes along, she's in effect inspiring others. I love the effect that she has on Nagi herself, and especially Yoko, and helping the two of them want to discover more. These are two individuals that are already in college, and they're in this geology lab, and they're already making discoveries themselves and passing on knowledge to other people and receiving knowledge from those before them. But because Ruri is there, they're sort of inspired to go out more. Yoko, again, her whole mindset is that she doesn't really want to leave the lab. She loves looking in the books and reading about the stuff, but she never applies it. But Ruri's kind of nudging her. It's through Ruri that these individuals are being pushed more. And this also goes to Shoko. Shoko's a girl who grew up and everybody's telling her there's no future in geology. There's no future in the rocks that you have in your hand. There's nothing in minerals. But as she's watching Ruri and Nagi and Yoko and they're doing their own thing, she's just kind of drawn into it. This is a thing that I love and they're doing it. And Yoko's over here telling her, yeah, it's going to be difficult for you to make it a job, but what does it matter? It's going to be difficult, but if that's what you want, go do it. Shoko's inspired to, oh yeah, this is something that I want to seek out this dream. And that's really a through point through the entire series, and it definitely capitalizes it at the finale. There's some beautiful moments in the finale where Ruby herself is trying to figure out what she wants to do in her future, and she's seeing other individuals that have their future set for them. And the entire time the viewer's going, girl, you know what you want. That stuff is so fantastic. There was so many moments throughout this series that just brought a massive smile to my face as I'm realizing, girl, you love this. You love this process. You know it's difficult. It's tough. And I love that there's that element there, that they constantly will hit on the fact that this stuff is very difficult. The planning process of finding where these minerals were at based on where it came down a creek is very advanced. There's that challenge there, but yet there's also this massive payoff at the end, that discovery moment, and being able to, again, leave that off to the next generation. This stuff is so good. And I think, again, while I've not read the entire manga, I feel like at least with the anime, that came across. That feeling came across. Either way, I want to say the anime did quite a bit because every single one of these discovery moments are always accented by these very beautiful shots of what they're viewing. That awe-inspiring moment where you see the glitter of the actual minerals themselves. They found this big hole of a whole bunch of these minerals and they're just awestruck. The animation starts to ramp up and it's just all beautifully portrayed. Which, yes, gets into the elephant in the room. Hi, elephant. This show looks phenomenal. Studio Bind just knocked it out of the park again. They just flew out there. It's gone. It's to the next town. Studio Bind, this team did an exceptional job with this. This is a lot of the team members from Onimai, which for those that did not watch that series was so phenomenally animated. There's a lot to this. The main key thing that I love most personally is the character animations. I love the expressiveness of the characters themselves. All that attention to detail with the characters' movement and their motion, that just brings them to life. I was pointing out to a lot of people during this series airing, there's this one moment where Nagi is writing something down on a piece of paper to explain something to Ruri. And the entire time, Ruri is kind of hovering over the paper and looking down towards the visual perspective of the show. And it's like there's so many frames to this one shot they didn't have to do. They could have easily just have Ruri off the side looking down at the piece of paper as Nagi's explaining to it and just have that be a single frame that's held on for a couple seconds. Maybe have a little bit of movement of the pen or something like that. No, they chose to have Ruri sit there and kind of, glance around as she's looking at the subject being wrote. This is that attention to detail that doesn't need to happen, but they do. Why? Because they care about what they're doing. The animators and the team care about what they're making here. Despite the fact this is a show about minerals that most people don't even want to care about, and again, a show that probably most people won't watch. This is going to be one of those hidden gems that I'm going to love that nobody's going to watch, except for a few people that are watching this video, thank you. They don't have to go through those efforts, but they chose to because they want to create something beautiful. And this extends to so many other scenes. One specific scene absolutely floored me, and this is a scene where Ruri finds this rock down in this water hole, and she climbs out of the water hole, and that right there was just absolutely beautifully animated. But then there's this moment where Nagi asks her, are you going to get rid of it? And she says, absolutely not. Because again, Ruri right here is discovering that there was all this effort put into finding this thing, and she doesn't want to give it up. But the animation and her expression is this playful, no, I'm not going to give it up because this is what I wanted. The animation, that attention to detail really sold to me, this girl loved what she found. That's why it's important. That is one of those moments where you realize the animator chose right to go crazy with this scene because it sold to me that she was in love with this thing. Hands down, one of the most beautifully animated series overall, the attention to detail, the massive amount of animation, the Sakuga moments, the beautiful lights, the portrayal, the filters given over to a lot of the scenes, the expressions of emotion and discovery that just hits you every single time they find something, the music ramping in as well. It is phenomenal. Hands down, one of the most beautifully animated series that I've ever watched. Now, I do want to clarify one thing with the adaptation of Ruri Rocks. Yes, the manga, the original source material, does have a panty shot here and there. The adaptation doesn't. It does seem like the producers wanted to sort of make this thing more for a general audience. So if you are afraid of fan service, there's not really that here. Yes, there's some really thick shots of characters like Nagi. Nagi is super thick. They did upgrade the characters quite a bit, similar to Onimai. They did make Nagi especially thick. They did make Yoko especially thick. So if you are a fan of the thick, that is there. but they did cut out a lot of that fan service that was in the original manga. Now, through my flipping through the manga itself, I didn't find that the fan service was prevalent. Like, there was one or two in, like, maybe the first, like, 2 episodes worth of anime that was in the manga that was removed. But I don't really necessarily think that the fan service was a focus of the original creator. I really do feel like they're like, you know what, this isn't really that necessary. Let's just make this show about these characters having fun, and we'll just make that fan service through just the perspective shots and the characters themselves being more sexier. It's one of those things where the fan service itself is technically there through the designs themselves and perspective shots and whatnot, but it's not actually showing anything. Instead of showing a pantsu shot under a skirt, instead it's got that element of, are they even wearing anything? There's a thigh there, but it's not actual butt shot. And honestly, I'm always mixed on this kind of stuff. I don't want it removed. I don't want censorship. At the same time, I acknowledge this does just perfectly well, and it broadens the audience quite a bit. As much as I love something like Onimai, it sucks that I can't really recommend it to people because this stuff bothers people. So it's going to be up in the air if people are bothered by that or not. Personally, I feel there's still plenty here. It's just what's there is stuff that is sort of hidden in a way that I could actually show it to a parent or something. I think as sort of a trade-off, Studio Bind did well in just adding that animation that just makes you go, you know what, that was actually a chef kiss shot right there. We all know the shot of Nagi pulling the steak out of her back pocket and knowing, yep, that looked great. The character designs themselves overall, I thought were phenomenal. Again, I think Studio Bind just absolutely nails it when it comes to character designs. And this is something that's very similar to the style that was given to Onimai. Very different from the source material, but it's very unique to this series versus any other animated series. Outside of the animation, though, I found this show to be extremely entertaining, and I think that really is through the chemistry of the cast itself. You have the brat Ruri, who's just very selfish and just very kind of bubbly and very Genki, trying to get people to do things and constantly wanting to discover things and just, again, influencing the others to kind of keep moving. Nagi being sort of like the one that keeps things very stable and centered and calm. You would argue that she is the sort of sense of reasoning, but at the same time, there is moments where, especially Yoko, will point out that she is oblivious to things. Because Yoko is sort of like her playoff, being less outgoing, but at the same time, seemingly having a lot more experience elsewhere, especially when it comes to fashion. The three of them together for the majority of the show was absolutely fantastic, and they play off each other so well. I think the thing that really does keep me going for the most part, personally, was more Ruri and how, like, she's just an absolute dork. She's an absolute dork. Her just constantly popping up saying, what's this, and them having to explain things was a lot of fun. And I think Shoko herself added quite a bit as well, in the idea that she's more a straight man than anything. I think she's very good at sort of shutting down Ruri whenever she's kind of being a dork about things, but at the same time, she also does sort of open the door for Ruri herself to become the mentor. Because again, inspiring. Nagi inspires Ruri, Ruri inspires Shoko, Shoko is supported by Yoko, Ruri and Nagi inspires Yoko. Again, this is all about inspiration. But overall, the cast coming together just does so well to support each other. And it does open the door to some of the most heartwarming moments between them and how they want to support each other. They have fears for kind of being left behind and so on and so forth. The last thing I want to get into is, of course, mineralogy. I think I've kind of danced around this subject long enough, but yes, quite a bit of this series is about mineralogy itself. It is cute girls doing cute things, and that cute thing is mineralogy. And yes, there is a lot of science and geology and all that stuff in this series. It does obviously seem like this writer is a massive fan of mineralogy, and it seems like that comes across in what they portrayed here. They wanted to create something that was entertaining while also being informative at the same time. And I think that kind of came across in the anime adaptation as well. I had fears early on that this was going to be too info dumpy, like we're going to constantly have diagrams on the screen, constantly characters talking about how things are made, but it's all done in a fun way. Typically twice, sometimes more in an episode, you'll have suddenly the characters kind of pop off to a chart off the side. There's a chibi character that's kind of explaining how things go, but thankfully it's not to the point where suddenly your brain's starting to fizzle, you're starting to get tired of seeing it, and you just kind of want to skip forward. It only ever kind of portrays it just enough to get the information across before kind of moving on. We're kind of learning alongside Ruri, who seems like she has the attention span of a gnat, so it doesn't dwell on things too long. But I think the thing that I love so much is despite my disinterest in minerals and geology, I still found moments where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that from class. Oh yeah, I remember how that works. Oh yeah, I think I remember the surface level of that whole thing. Even for me, there's still aha moments that I go, oh yeah, I kind of like that, or it was cool to kind of learn this whole thing. Again, like I said earlier, it's edutainment. It's entertaining while it's trying to educate you. And again, I think the balance, while sometimes a little bit too heavy, was for the most part perfectly done. But that's my thoughts, my review of Ruri Rocks. Hopefully my love and passion for this series came across to you guys. Hopefully you found this video informative. If you have not checked out the series and you do want to check it out now that you've watched this video, let me know in the comments down below. Or hey, if you listen to this and you're like, nope, I'm still not sold, that's perfectly fine. But I have to get this off my chest. I have to hopefully win somebody over to check out Ruri Rocks. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and you want to support on more, become a member of the channel. Until next time, y'all take care.